Hello, my little nerds and nerdettes. Please join us for another episode of
Dungeon Crawlers!
last episode of
Dungeon.
Campaign 1. We almost done. Well,
technically
are
we're done.
We're done.
Wrapping
Yeah.
it up.
We're done.
We're
This is
done.
the-
We're done. Thanks
now
for
it's
coming.
time for the epilogue.
Oh, I mean, it's the epilogue. It's over.
Yeah.
It's an intense
Yeah, no, we're
voice.
saying hi
such
and
an
then
in- yeah.
we're gone.
Welcome to the epilogue.
Yeah, like it just came off like really hard, and then you're like epilogue. But
Welcome to the epilogue of our campaign.
you went like Scottish, then British, then American, like right at the end. That was a really weird transition. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that strat. Just if you're gonna stick with
I was
one, go
trying
with
to
one.
do like a very soft-spoken.
Okay, Australian
Brit
into
voice.
English. Okay.
Oh, I thought
No,
it was
you're way
beautiful.
off.
Okay.
Mate, you don't know your accents like I do.
Oh, I bet I don't.
No, you
Please
fucking
tell
don't.
me again, you little shitbag.
Listen up, Crumpet. Get
And-
fucked.
The shit apple doesn't fall far from the shit tree, Randy.
The end times have come.
I
The
love
Lone
Chili
Rangers have fought and defeated the Undying One, who turned out to be a moon elf in another life form, unsure. But he seems to have come back to do some kind of cleansing of the world, to wrong his rights, to correct his actions from however many past lives ago. You succeed. The world began to crumble as the undead ran the world and overran Rothos. You fought a difficult battle. Friends and lives were lost. Some were saved and kept. Friends joined the fray as you learned about a couple of different people that you had not realized before were badasses.
Yeah, Yvonne
Hell yeah.
came in clutch.
Oh, I can answer all of that. I got a whole backstory for her. I had one for Woolsworth too.
Rest
But-
in peace, Woolsworth.
Rest in peace.
But the end of the story came. Decisions were made as Kaelin walked up to the Undying One's roasted, crisp body, and through the internal monologue was told to procure the eyes and deliver them to a certain location. A withered creature appeared through a portal to take Kaelin to his destination. There. He objected and created his own little planar shift, but in the course of doing so, Freya tried to talk him out of it. Instead, she chose to travel with him to Hell, whereas at that point, Morn decided that he was just done, and threw down everything that he owned, turned and walked off. Unknown to anyone where or how or when, and just disappeared. So, we'll start up hot and heavy, as that will kind of set the theme for the night. Kaelin and Freya. Freya.
Hot is right. We're literally going to hell.
Immediately,
Boom-ch.
you feel a tugging sensation, and as you open your eyes, a hot, nasty, musty heat hits your face, lungs, and nose. And you kind of slowly open your eyes to this immediate dried out, like room type bar. And you feel the heat on the face and your eyes immediately almost dry out and kind of like You do like that. You swallow your spit, but like half of it's missing, so like halfway down, like your throat's like you're just like, no, like you try to do like that dry swallow.
Yeah.
You do recognize the location that you're at. Actually, no, you would not. Kalen, you do. It is the upper portion of Ezekiel's old bar that he owned. Used to. I believe that's where you said you were going to teleport to.
Yeah, I specified Ezekiel's office.
Oh, so actually that would not be there then. That would be Ezekiel's office would actually be what's his name's old house? Isaac's, yeah, his mansion. Because that's been converted. So, you find yourselves. Actually, Freya, you would recognize this because you
Yeah.
were brought here.
Yeah.
A lavish office, with reds, gold trims, and silver satins everywhere. You see a large desk with a chair, overlooking a kind of like a window, like a large window, and as you look out through the window in the background is a almost like a pouring red liquid that comes off of a mountain or a hill that pours into the water below, or this almost like a waterfall.
Okay.
And then it kind of comes out and does like a step down, and then there's this open foyer.
As soon as oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as soon as you land,
birds chirping for hell.
right? In the chair, you notice a individual that you've seen before with the very slicked back hair into a very well kept suit, and
Wait. I don't think Freya has met Ezekiel.
no, that's why I'm
Nope.
describing him.
Oh, okay, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, but you notice an individual, very, very well kept, very, almost dapper, well done up, suited individual, red skin, very clean, pointed beard, and you wouldn't have seen him before, but he used to have just these tiny horns. He now has these large horns that almost wrap back. Like accentuated now, almost like a status of power.
Oh, he's a big boy now.
Got his big boy
I'm a
panties
big
on.
kid now.
But he seems to be sitting and stroking some kind of animal that you're not really sure what the fuck it is. It's like a cat, but not a cat, and it's like a mixture of about 17 different things. And to his left and to his right are half-clad, half-clothed females of different species, and in all corners of the room you see like demons or heavily guarded individuals with heavy armor on, almost like big donned face masks and elaborate armor. He crosses his legs and folds his hands and just kind of does like that motion where he just like over under.
As soon as we arrive, Kellen like instantly lets go of Freya's linked hand and falls to one knee.
Halen, if you could not on my floor, please. I just had it cleaned.
Well, those psychic shocks weren't exactly doing me a favor.
Well, when you don't listen, I have to send the point across.
I understand. I ran into some complications. He gets up again.
What sort of complications would that be? I gave you a simple task to grab a set of eyes and return them, as he lifts up a glass of a dark, like a dark liquid, almost like a liquor of some type. I gave you one simple task to take it to a certain location and hand it over. Instead, you stand in my office before me with her.
Yeah, yes. He looks towards Freya. Freya. This is Ezekiel. He helped us a great deal when we wanted to rescue you.
I'll kind of look away from Kaylin and look at Ezekiel and kind of nod my head. Hello?
He gives like an elaborate, like, yes, you're most welcome.
Yes. Yeah. I understand that the task was simple. She just wanted to examine the eyes first.
Remind me, Frosty, because I know she was asking before we went through. She had her hand out for the eyes. I can't remember if Kaylin handed them to her or not. No, he did not.
I did not. Not yet.
not,
No,
okay.
I don't believe it did. No.
Okay.
And what point would that serve for her to examine the eyes? I don't care about her examining them. I care about them going to their location that I asked you to take them to.
You didn't really give us much time.
I didn't give you any time. I gave him an option.
Yes, I understand that, and it was my phone. He's incredibly nervous. He's forming a cold sweat. It was my full intention to deliver the eyes to you, but you know,
I don't want them. They were supposed to go to Thinsfield.
to the location. It is, but I am loyal to my adventuring companions, and so I felt like by bringing her here we could maybe compromise a little bit.
You didn't give any
Sir.
time. We had literally just completed ending the Undying One, and you gave him literally no time. He was expected to depart immediately.
For only a day. He was expected to drop them off, and then he's free to do whatever he wants.
What is so important about those eyes being delivered?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
It was important enough for him to deliver them and set him free. I'm just trying to understand if a being that powerful that posed a threat to not only Rothos but also down here, why you would want those eyes, why you wouldn't want them destroyed, why you would want somebody to have them.
Keepsake. Do you not keep keepsakes?
Why is it so important to have his eyes?
That is all that was left of him.
But how did you know
What
that
you
was
would
going to be all
expect
that
me
was
to-
left of him?
Because he's been fought before in the past.
Is this why he keeps being able to come back? Because nobody's properly destroyed maybe these eyes are the reason for him being able to come back.
No, that would be the book that you destroyed, honey.
Oh,
That book was his phylactery. His way back into this world. You destroyed his soul, per se. The eyes are more of a keepsake slash... Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
memento?
Trophy.
No, like an heirloom, like a priceless, like a priceless item.
Artifact?
Artifact, antique.
There you go. It's like a antique, more of a priceless gift to myself, something to be stored away and kept. The humans, your realm does not need that. They need to be properly stored. It's unsafe for you.
So, basically, if these eyes were given to the individual that you tasked him to give them to, that would be the end of your requirements of his service?
Yes, I have no other needs for him. He served his purpose.
I'm gonna look at Kaylin. That's it? That's all you need?
Ezekiel, devils are nothing but men of their word.
I signed my contract. He signed his. There was nothing within the contract that stated he would be obligated beyond that. He required to procure the eyes, per my command, return them to a place of my choosing, and contract fulfilled. And he snaps his finger, and the individual to his left stands up, takes her hand, and actually kind of like semi-cuts it over his glass and pours into this liquid. And you see him take like this long finger with a fingernail now, and like stirs his drink. Thank you. And continues to drink.
Well, if what you say is true, and they're meant to just be a sort of trophy,
Sealed away, per se.
and as long as these are not the means of bringing the Undying One back, and they will allow Kalen to be free again, I don't see the harm in that.
Why would I want the Undying One back? He's bad for business. He
Or,
fucks with my travel between realms.
I guess what I mean, not just necessarily the Undying One himself returning, but somebody else returning. Or somebody else, essentially, in some way taking his power, if that's possible, through those eyes, and becoming him in some form or another. I don't know.
The eyes don't do that. The book is his way of creating new selves for himself. Thus destroying his phylactery and his soul, you pretty much guaranteed that he won't be coming back. At least through the book.
So, do I have your word that if Kalen gives these eyes to the individual that you deemed them to be given to, you will be setting him free?
You don't need my word, honey. You have my contract. And he rolls out like an elaborate contract, like one of those ones where you roll it out and like rolls out for like a good 5 to 10 feet. It's all in the contract.
The fucking
sweetheart.
CVS receipt just.
Yeah, just that like a Costco.
You bought
just
one.
like-
Oh,
Yeah.
you bought one thing, but the receipt's like
Yeah,
30 feet long.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
it's just an elaborate contract. Like it pretty much. So you glance at it in a small. So roll a d20 for me. Roll a d20 and add your intelligence modifier, like the ability to decipher this.
I don't think the modifier's gonna help.
Maybe you don't understand what the fuck is on that piece of paper. It
You
is.
think it's toilet paper?
Yeah.
What is this gibberish?
I
Use
mean,
this
Warren probably would
English?
wipe his ass with that contract.
Yeah, what the fuck? What am I looking at?
You begin to read it, and it is the most complex writing you've ever written. I hereby state
read?
blah 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 blah.
Well,
You know,
like
it's
legal
very,
jargon.
it's very 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 legal jargon.
Tons of
like-
legalese, just like and this.
The undersigned
hence-
and blah blah blah.
Henceforth,
Yeah.
the undersigned shall be
Yeah,
indebted
and
to.
every time you're like,
such and
oh
such
well,
an
you know, it
action
doesn't say
until
this.
such a time as this condition has
Per
been
conditions
achieved.
stated in
Yeah.
the underwriting
Yeah,
by
and it's
the
like every
undersigned.
time every time you're like, well, it doesn't state this. He like points to a separate piece of the paper and it like defines it for like a half a page about why it's
Jesus.
this way, like that. And then you're like, but it also doesn't say this. And then he points to another piece of paper and it's like another half sheet, and he's like, it's all there. The contract is to the fullest and absolute most extent of my ability. And then he points to the bottom of the paper and it says, as stated above, hereby thus signed, actions completed by, and he gives like Kalen's full name. I, Ezekiel Drakius, I can't even think of a name for him. This would be like big long name, like his demonic name. Below that it says, I state that His soul will not be forfeit, and
Don't worry about
he will retain his ability to walk the mortal realm.
Okay. So I'll kind of just look at Caitlin, especially because I had a hard time digesting what.
Devils are just like people from Spain. The longer their name is, the more important they are.
Exactly. That's why I was like, I was like trying to think of like a really elaborate fucking last name, but I was like, I don't know if I ever gave him a last name. I don't remember. But the more you read it, the more you're confused, and he like, and like as he rolls to scroll out further, it's just like more fucking jargon, and it like literally details, like it even details to the point of like abilities and like the name of like his sword, and then like the amount that she is able to communicate with him, and their like the communication between the two, what is viable, what is not viable, and then like it goes into like it goes into like physical interactions between him and his sword, as his sword like it basically says like you are not allowed to be intimate with and like details this whole fucking thing. And like
Like,
as like,
don't shove your sword up your ass, bro. Like, just don't do it.
yeah. It's basically like says like, you know, like
the shampoo bottle warning. Don't put it in your eyes. No shit.
It's this whole fucking like this whole thing, and as you're reading, you're just like, oh my god, like what the fuck is this?
Like if you can think of it, it's in there.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Very, very, very detailed,
Okay.
but it is incredibly confusing. And you're not sure if everything is in there or everything is not. But as far as you're concerned, it looks like it is.
Yeah, at this point, like I said, it's because it's probably very difficult to digest, being that it's so legal and so difficult in general just to understand all the little like pieces that, whatever. So I'm just imagining Freya's probably like looking at it, then asking questions, but also kind of looking at Kaylin like, is this good? Like, you good with this? Is this true? Like, there's no loopholes, or kind of like doing this, are we good? Is this okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have signed it if I knew it had dire consequences.
And as he says that, you read at the very bottom of the page, it basically says, contract not. If contract is voided and or eyes are not returned within a timely fashion or
You
taken
fucking die.
Yeah, it says basically soul is forfeit.
God damn.
And you look at the end of it, and you're like, oh, goddamn.
Okay, so I understand
The only part
urgency.
that you understand.
Yeah, I understand the urgency now. I get it. Okay.
So, that being said, I do believe my end has been tied up and completed per our contract, Kaylin.
Yes, fully. You gave me the opportunity to see my dear friends again, and I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, it's not over. Once you complete whatever it is that you're completing, you may do as you wish. You will be released from my immediate repertoire. For the contract, Article 32, Part 5, Section 6. You will be allowed to walk the mortal realm. There will be some slight modifications, but nothing drastic.
Good. I look towards Freya like, so, may I hand the eyes to him?
I don't want them.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
They need to go to Thinsfeld.
Right. Yeah. We can take them there.
Yeah, cause you set it on the table, like the hand over, like you kind of like hand it, and he like takes a almost like a back scratcher, and like nudges it against your hand and kind of like nudges it away from himself.
Like, no.
Oh, bad touch. Okay, got it. Bad touch.
Bad touch. Okay. Well, do you have a means for us to get to Thinsvale? Being that he had such little time to do anything, we missed the window for that.
I can send you there, if need be. I have the ability to do so.
That would be greatly appreciated because the ability you gave me to use that plane shift only works once per day. So.
Yes. But in doing so, you do realize Article 10, Section 42. What will happen, correct?
He quickly looks over and reads it over again.
Basically says once the eyes are handed over, your contract is null with Ezekiel. You're basically free, but you will lose your sword.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. Fucking, I don't care about Felicity Taker.
Yeah. You
That
can you
bitch.
and you can like you hear like almost like a crying in your ear, like in your mind.
Aww.
Like she's just like, oh,
Senpai!
Kaylin. It's almost to the point of like annoying. Like you feel like a little bad, but then it just like it goes on for like too long, and you're just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so he reads it over and then he goes, looks up again, like, yeah, yes, that's completely fine.
Duly noted.
And
behind him, Like well, I'm just saying, just behind him, a small doorway opens up, like it just like kind of forms out of nothing. And you see in the background a very rustic church that, Kaylin, you recognize. Is the home that you grew up.
Before we go through that portal, I'm gonna look at Kaylin. Is there a way to get back to Jupiter? Or wait, where did we leave? We were in... Yeah, we were in
You were
Jupiter.
in
Okay.
Jupiter.
Is there a way to get back to Jupiter from Thinsveld? I'm asking that of Caitlin. Like, is there a way to teleport from there that you know of?
Not immediately, no.
I'm gonna look at Ezekiel.
Once you walk through, you're on your own. I owe no favors, he owes me none. Do as you wish.
Shit, I'm trying to think about it.
That clause I was looking at, it said I just lose Felicity. I don't lose any of my spells, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. We're good.
Felicity was more of a, like, on top of your patron and your powers. That was kind of like the gift beyond that.
A way to keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
No, there's no immediate way back, but once I get some of my magic back, I can get us there relatively quickly. To Jupiter, I mean.
How long would it take for you to get your magic back?
Around maybe 8 hours, give or take.
You're gonna see like a worried look on her face. Ezekiel, do you have a way to open any kind of teleportation to Jupiter?
Once you leave my realm, I have no ability on that realm to make any kind of changes.
No, like, you just opened a gateway to Thinsveld. Are you able to do the same thing to Jupiter?
It would be a separate portal.
And you can't do that? You can't open a separate portal?
Well, then you would part ways here. If that is what you wish.
No. I want Freya to come with me to Thinsveld.
I'm gonna be looking at Kaylin. Again, a worried look on my face.
If you're worried about contacting others, I have a method to do that immediately right now. We could do that as soon as we touch foot in Thinsveld.
Man. Ginge, I don't know if you saw the perception I rolled.
Yep.
The 30.
Mhm. What about it?
That was for when I was leaving Jupiter.
You would have noticed the look on Morn's face, the hurt, and the...
Well, during the whole interaction, even though it was kind of hurried along and kind of was in like a moment of having to make a split-second decision, there would have been that. That's what I was rolling for. Like, if I had noticed, obviously hearing what he was saying about, like, just letting the eyes go, and then how he was reacting to it. That's kind of what that was for.
You would have noticed kind of a hurt, almost abandonment slash like a tish of anger, kind of disappointment. I'm going to assume Morn.
Yeah, that's correct.
So looking at Kaylin, again, kind of a worried, have a little bit of a saddened look.
If you could please hurry, I might be all-powerful, but this is really draining. It makes me rather tired, and it's not late enough for me to go to bed quite yet.
No matter where any of them go, I promise you, I could find them.
I don't know if I have time to wait that long to get back.
It'll only be a few minutes.
I thought you said you needed 8 hours.
No, I have a method of contacting them immediately. Like I said, once we touch foot in Thinsfeld. Getting to them would take me 8 hours.
Shit. I mean, I rolled a nat 20. That's really what I'm pushing at here. Can I get... Maybe Morn can kind of trouble. Like, maybe you can...
I mean,
fill in the blanks, because I rolled as high as I possibly could on that.
You could tell that. I think you could tell a pretty distinct difference between Morn wanting to stop Kaylin from taking the eyes away, and Morn not wanting you to go to hell with him. I think there's a pretty large difference in those two. One of those would have been like, Morn doesn't trust Kaylin, but I think Morn values his friendship with you way higher than that.
Kaylin, I think if Ezekiel can send me to Jupiter now, I think that's the best thing that I can do. And I think that anything else would be too long or not enough. I think I need to get back there now if I can, and then kind of go from there. I think knowing that you'll be safe and that you can hand those over when you get to Thinsfeld and everything will be fine then. And then me being in Jupiter, I just feel like I need to get back there now if I can.
You see his demeanor shift. It's very difficult to describe. It seems like he's thinking about a lot of things, and he remains that way for like a few seconds, and then he's looking at the ground, and he looks back up at you and says, he says more to himself, really. Okay, come on. You practice this. He goes around to one of his belt satchels, and he undoes the strap. And he pulls out, he takes a deep breath, and he pulls out a black ring with dark red diamonds in it. It looks like it's probably made of brimstone or something like that. And he holds it out towards you, and he takes a deep breath, and he begins. Freya, when you and the Rangers first found me in the pit of Fjord, you were the first one to reach out to me. Although you were slightly reclusive, you showed me kindness. And then we went to Supter, Toftet, Langdor, all over Rothos. And as we traveled together, I realized something. There were times when I was asking for Shantae's aid and she didn't answer me. And when she wasn't there, you were. When I was lost in the darkness, you were my light. When I found myself unsure, you were my encouragement. When Shantae failed me, you were my goddess. When I jumped from the boat to confront Zaro, and everything that followed thereafter, although you scolded me, you showed me forgiveness. And I think back as I was sitting there in that cabin, it felt like 1,000 needles were being pressed against my heart. I had felt pathetic and mad at myself that I had hurt you. And then we fought the juvenile Hydra on the way to Port Proval. And when you went down, I felt an anger boiling up inside of me that could rival a berserker's rage. I didn't know what I was feeling at the time, but it was coming to something. And then, in the underground Dwarven city, when I saw you take that shadowy form for the first time, I felt pain. Pained that I didn't see it sooner. Pained that I couldn't do anything to fix you. At that moment, my primary goal shifted from finding my master to healing you. Not because I was an adventurer, or because I was a good person, or because I was even a cleric, but because I realized then that I loved you. Then we arrived at Jupiter, and I saw you with your hood down for the first time. Your beauty surpassed all of my expectations. Amber hair, more pleasant than the morning rise in Thinsfeld. Eyes that reflected a duality not even the most polished mirror could. You shone brighter than Shantae herself had ever shown to me. It only reaffirmed that what I was feeling was real. And it was because of that what happened next hurt me most of all. Steinthorn. You took that shadowy form again, and then you vanished. It was all my fault. If I had just been a better person, a better cleric, and was able to see what was going on and help you, then you wouldn't have been taken away. I failed you. When you were gone, my heart felt like a half of it was missing. I was empty. I cursed Shantae, and I cursed myself for not being stronger. Every moment I spent figuring out how to get back to hell, how to get to hell. My mind was filled with you. I was going to stop at nothing to get you back. And that's why I did it. That's why I signed the first contract with Ezekiel. Because I wanted to be the one who was most responsible for saving you. I wanted to be the one who you looked to in gratitude the most. I wanted to be the one whose brilliant smile you directed your gaze to an acknowledgement that you had been saved. That's why I did it. But then I made a mistake. A mistake that took me away from you. Every waking moment that I spent being tortured in hell for the next 3.5 years, I never stopped thinking about you, and if you were okay, if you would ever take that form again, if you still needed help. That's why when Ezekiel offered me a chance to go back, a chance to see your face again. I accepted instantly, not thinking about the consequences. But I don't regret my decision. Seeing you again, a dark cloud no longer looming over your head, has made everything worth it. Freya, I'm not a perfect man. I've made so many mistakes in the course of our adventures, but when I'm standing beside you, I couldn't care less. You are my light, my field of wheat, my scent of freshly baked bread, my everything. I'm just a naive farmhand from a middle of nowhere podunk religious village. But believe me when I say that I would move mountains, swim across oceans, grow wings and fly. And he gestures Ezekiel. I would damn this archdevil to the most grievous of punishments by the arbiters of the seven heavens if it meant that I could be with you. When I'm with you, my heart is whole again. Will you accept this ring? And he stands staring at you with... Whenever you've seen Kalen, before and after, he's always had... You could tell he's always had to hold himself back emotionally. When he was a cleric, he couldn't get mad. He couldn't lash out in anger because those were not the doctrines of Shantae. Whenever he was a warlock, he had to be deceptive and he had to keep secrets. But right now, you can tell that he's looking at you not as Kalen the cleric, not as Kalen the warlock, as Kalen the raw, emotional human being. And he's staring at you with the most terrified, vulnerable expression you've ever seen him wear. And you could tell, even at death's door, he is holding back his pants of pain and labor, as if afraid that if he breathes too loud, he'll interrupt your answer. And he's standing there, and he's holding out the ring towards you.
So during the conversation, a doorway had been opened to Jupiter behind you. So there's one for Thinsfeld, one for Jupiter, and all you hear is, "Oh, that was beautiful. Ugh, disgusting.
Fuck you,
But
Ezekiel.
beautiful. What will she choose? What will she choose?"
Out of character, first and
That's
foremost,
really
Frosty.
cool, yeah.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
I told you last week what I said was going to rock the multiverse, and I fucking meant it.
Dude, you could write like fucking novels. I'm not even joking. That was
Yeah, you should see the shit that he writes me.
That was so eloquent. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. So, but there's two. There's one to the left and one to the right of Ezekiel. The one to the left is
Yeah, I mean-
Thinsfeld, and there's a doorway behind Freya, kind of off to her right. That looks like Jupiter. Like it looks like the runes portions of Jupiter.
Oh my god, is this turning into a harem? Because I'm not. God.
Getting there.
This is
Uh,
just a
anime.
Hallmark movie. So I would watch this Hallmark movie.
This is a hell of a Hallmark movie.
Standing before
So-
an archdevil, making a proposal with two portals open.
But
Fucking hell, dude.
Freya, the portals are open behind you. To your left, you have Thinsfeld. To your right, you have Jupiter. Standing before you, Kalen, hood pulled back with the hair kind of like pulled up. He kind of, with a palm open, he holds this like ring in his two fingers. He holds this ring out towards you, kind of like outstretched towards you, and he's looking at you in the eyes.
So, what Kaylin would have noticed during saying all that is you would see that she's very moved by what you're saying and is getting teary-eyed at hearing of all these past things that have been brought up and how he's felt this whole time, and just kind of soaking it all in. And then after everything that's said, and he asks that question. You're gonna see a little bit of a saddened look on her face. And she's going to grab both of your hands tightly and look you in the eyes. I hope you understand why I can't. Please know that I'm not discrediting anything that you've said, nor do I not appreciate everything that you've felt and have gone through, and everything that you've done for me. And I will always be indebted to you and always care immensely for you. And I want nothing more than to keep you in my life, which is why I wanted to come here and ensure that you were set free, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that you're suffering. But I cannot accept. And then she's going to lean forward and give Kaylin a kiss on the cheek. And then move back. I will find you again, but I have something I need to do. And I'm gonna let go of his hands.
He doesn't let you.
Okay. I'm gonna try to let go of hands, but then stop.
You see, he's trying his best to smile, but you can see that you definitely shattered something in him. But he puts on the front the best he can. He says, I see. Sorry that you feel that way. Shatter. Shatter. Make an intelligence save.
Oh!
This is a spell that only requires a verbal component, and that was the verbal component.
You said an intelligence save? 1 second.
Yep.
Before I use this, is this something that silvery barbs works against?
I mean, if you succeed, you can make yourself re-roll, I suppose.
Oh,
If you
okay.
want to fail. Which I'd be more than for that. Okay.
I don't want to fail. I was asking if silvery barbs work. Doesn't that make you Oh no, because this is I'm having to beat your DC, right? So it doesn't work. Okay.
That was Rolthim's Psychic Lance. You take 34 psychic damage, and if I recall, you only had 5 HP.
Yeah, I'm down.
It only has a verbal component, so.
Bruh.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm down. There's no way around that.
Well, that was not very nice, Kaylin.
He ignores everything that he's saying. He gets down on one knee and. Because Freya's technically unconscious, so she hasn't died yet. Where am I? I'm just making sure I'm reading this correctly. Yes. He's going to take out a dagger and he's going to slowly, or just get it over with. He's going to stab Freya and twist it until she dies.
What the
So,
fuck?
technically, we could do this however you want. 2 attack rolls. They'll both be crits, and something within 5 feet, that'll be 4 death saves, so it would only take 2 attacks, but... Does that go through?
I mean, I can't do anything about it because I'm unconscious.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
I need more whiskey too, Ginge. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah, right? No, it's all good.
What a twist.
I'm just looking at something here really quick.
Yeah, literally. twisting faith.
Freya's like only hope is that this was a breach in the contract.
Which hasn't been
or-
which hasn't been fulfilled yet.
Which has not been fulfilled yet.
And
Or that just Ezekiel doesn't want people murdered in his office.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Not for like ethical reasons, but just for like cleanliness. Yeah.
it's like, don't be doing that shit in
He's
my
like
office.
the spy from TF2 who's going,
Aw,
you
I
got
mean,
blood on my
it
suit.
sucks. For me, obviously, that's wishful thinking. Because that's a really fucking horrible way to go out. It's also a really poetic way to go out, too, to be fair.
Yeah.
Ezekiel knows what spells he gave me, so he should know. He might have an idea of what I'm doing.
Pretty good idea. I'm just checking to make sure really quick.
Are you doing, like, the entomb thing, or what is that? I
He's
forget the
entombed. Yeah, he was gonna entomb the Undying One's soul.
So do those attacks go through?
They go through. I'm just making absolutely sure before. The fuck is it?
What are you looking
There it
for?
is. Ouch. Okay, so it's not. I was thinking of something else. So, yes, they go through.
Alright, and as soon as Freya mechanically dies, I'm gonna cast Soul Cage on her.
Okay.
So as soon as he finishes twisting the dagger one more time, he quickly fetches a tiny silver cage that looks like it could hold probably like a hummingbird, and he holds it over Freya's body, and the bottom opens up, just metal creaks like, and it looks like some ectoplasmy substance is sucked out of Freya before the cage closes again, and he hooks it onto his belt loop and stands up. He looks towards Ezekiel. What you gave me here only lasts for 8 hours. I need a more long-term form of containment. I'm willing to be your agent for as long as you want, if that's what you want, but I need this request granted.
To do that to the one you love. And what do you gain by holding that for more than 8 hours?
Time to find what I need.
Oh.
When I was scrying on them, when I first arrived back here, I heard them tell mention of some sort of scepter in the ruins of Exville, capable of doing anything the user desires. So, as long as I can keep her contained, I'm going to go search for it. And when I find it, I'll bring her back, and I'll make her love me.
Oh my god. This is out of a
Snaps his
fucking
finger.
movie.
And a contract arrives before you, and it is 10 times longer than what yours was, Kaylin. I believe everything in here will suit your needs.
I'm going full Disney villain mode.
Oh my god.
I'm going to save you both a lot of pain with a little hurt now.
He,
The sorceress will never regain
And he
her
hands over a
wound,
pen that
and though
has.
you wanted not to lose her, Geralt, you will.
He hands you a pen, and this pen is different than the pen you signed with before. This pen, where your thumb places, has a tiny needle.
Yeah, sign in blood trope. I got it. Is there like a chair across from the desk he's in,
Yes.
like an audience chair? Like I need to sit down. Like yeah, so Kalen, he sits down and he starts to very deeply read it over.
Okay. Roll a 20. Roll a d20 and add your intelligence modifier to see what you can pick up, if anything. If that's what you're aiming to do.
Yeah, intelligence check. Here we go. 18.
Standard contract. A lot of, covering his ass, helping yours. A lot of covering his ass if things are not met. You don't see anything crazy or out of the norm. Basically, at the end of the contract, it states that you will be given a box that will allow the imprisonment of the body for an indefinite amount of time until
Imprisonment of the body or the soul?
the soul. Until
That's what I thought
you are given 2 years to find the staff
The scepter.
or the scepter. Sorry.
Okay.
And in doing so, the body or the soul will be returned to the body, and she will be revived.
Okay. He looks over it, gets to the bottom, and he's like, "Is it really this necessary for this much lingo, as it were, to cover just a more longer-lasting soul cage?"
Oh yes. You see, I have to cover both sides of this, as she has forfeited her ability to talk and procure on her end. It covers both sides. Not only does your part be covered and allow you to cage her, this allows her the ability to recompensate if said ability on your end is not able to finish whatever this is you're looking for.
In other words, if I can't find it, you get both of our souls.
Oh no, she's free to go. You're mine. I cannot take what is not mine. You should know that by now, Caitlin. You have to willingly sign your soul over.
He quickly pricks his finger, signs it. I'm going to find it if I'm the last man on Earth. But,
The moment you flick the last of your name and the contract seals, all the lettering, the blood from your writing seems to almost like accentuate and fills all of the letters of the contract. And as it does, Henri, Kaz, Morn, in the back of your minds, it's almost like you feel Freya take her last breath. Like you sense it. Something is off.
he gets up from his chair and he says, well,
And as you do that, Ezekiel bends down, touches the body slightly, and the body disintegrates into the floor. That'll be mine for keeping.
of course, I'm pretty banged
and as
up.
he says that, he touches the table, and a almost a square cube arrives on the top of the table. I believe that will suit your predicament much better.
He very graciously drops the silver cage in.
You don't even drop the silver cage. The moment you come within an inch of that, like the box, the soul just transfers.
Okay.
Like it's sucked from one to the other.
Yeah. I'm going to need an hour to rest. I'm pretty banged up, but afterwards I will get started immediately.
Oh, I bet you will.
I'm not going to let anyone stop me.
Mm. I assume so.
What about the other contract?
Oh right. The eyes. Do you want me to do that now, or can you wait an hour?
I'll give you an hour. You have 2 hours to complete my contract. But I'll say that we could easily make that work. And he closes both the portals.
He bows and says, "It'll be done," and walks off essentially to find rest.
So,
Yeah, we could just sort of go into the epilogue from there. Caleb will
Yep.
do Kalen shit.
So we'll come back to that. Kaz, what is it that you are going to do after realizing all of this? After the end of the Undying One?
I think I'm going to stay in Jupiter for a little while, to see if Freya returns. Now that city's like real fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Didn't it get like real damaged? Yeah.
Over half of Jupiter was absolutely imploded. A lot of the people from Jupiter actually left Jupiter and took hold in Scornsvold. They began to restructure and basically make it the new Jupiter. It became the new Mecca.
Yeah, I think if when she doesn't return, I will assume that she, moved on. I don't know. Would I think that she was killed or?
I don't know.
Well, didn't you say that we kind of felt?
You got like a something.
Yeah.
Something felt off, almost like you could sense like a last breath, like just something weird. Like you just like something like a cold shiver down your spine, and the first thing that popped to your head was Freya.
Yeah, I think so. I'd probably stay there for a week or two and help them kind of rebuild or figure out what to do next. And then I would probably want to meet with Beowulf and talk to him about what I want to do next and just get his advice and on how to do that. And then I would leave town. I'm assuming Morn doesn't come back. Is that true?
Yeah, Morn would have, like we mentioned last time, would have just been kind of stunned when Freya went through the portal. And as the scene kind of dies down, you would just see Morn just kind of awkwardly standing kind of in the pit, not really knowing what to do, kind of just trying to dodge glances. And would eventually make those comments he did last time, just saying this time she chose. I spent the last years last months watching over her, doing everything I could, but she chose this. He would toss what he has kind of down, and you would see him climb up slowly to the top of the pit. And about the time of the top of the pit would have been about the time Freya could have come back, about that time. And you would probably see Morn just kind of take one last glance back down at the bottom of the pit. At that point, you'd see tears in his eyes. He'd wipe them away and then just walk out of Jupiter. He would have stopped by. He would have stopped and tried to look for Bruggen, I think, Ginge,
Yep.
on his way out. And we don't necessarily need to do the conversation, but he would pretty much just say, like, you know, this whole, like, he found a world that was so different than the one he'd grown up in, and was, you know, doing everything he could to, you know, learn about it and, you know, become more useful and, in a way, and found friends that he never thought he would have, found a purpose he never thought that he would quite realize, and he had dreams of even potentially going with Freya and Selena over to the land of the elves to hopefully look for Selena's family. And then he said that right at the end, he would just kind of mention, like, this was never meant to happen. It was never going to be that way. All these things that Morn was thinking, he would never be able to do it. That's not who he was. And then would finally just ask Bruggen two things. One, to try and contact Selena and explain why Morn just needs to kind of just get away from everything. And then two would probably be just ask for advice from Bruggen on just like how do you do it? How do you just set everything aside and live so peaceful out here? It's what Morn would want.
He explains. He understands all of it, and he explains to you slowly that this world, it takes bits and pieces of you, and you have to deal with it slowly. But I do not come from here, and I will be leaving here soon. You're welcome to join me if you wish, but Ridar is where I actually will be traveling to. It's a more graceful land.
More trees, more
For
mountains.
everything. I have
Don't
people
have-
there. People that are more like us. They accept the solitude. I do not know about your sister, as my kind. We tend to live more as creatures as we do as humans. A choice you could make if you wish, as you seem to have taken to the druidic arts. But I make my travels in a fortnight. Let me know if you wish to travel. Company is always welcomed.
How long is a fortnight?
1 day, child.
I'd like to go with you.
Do you wish to bring your sister?
A fortnight is 2 weeks.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 weeks.
If I have 2 weeks, I'd like to go see what remains of my village. I'm afraid I haven't been back. And I could use the fresh air in a long journey.
I'll be here.
I should be able to get back in time.
He just nods
When
his
I-
head.
If you have... I want Selena to learn who she is. It's... Before I met the rest of my adventurers, she's really all I cared about, and that was my goal, was to eventually have her learn where she came from and meet her people. I don't think she needs me to do that anymore. She's already surpassed me in her ability. But I would like to travel with you. I will be back to set off with you.
Okay. So you make the the travels to, around the Pit of Fjord, around your areas of your village. The majority of your village has recovered. A lot of the villagers are happy to see your return. Some of the older members have passed away and died.
I would definitely try not to put on much of a show. I would probably use an axe that I, crafted on the way there. I don't have any of my stuff. I'd try to just, be normal. And if anybody asks where I was, just kind of just say it's a long story and try and shake it off, right?
Yeah. So, after you take about a week and a half, you do the travel there, spend a day or two, and travel back. And within that period, you have a conversation with Selena. She's very distraught, asked to go with you, and you basically explain to her that this is a different journey, that she needs to do her own at this time. And you leave with Bruggen. You find a ship that leaves Dollar. And you arrive. After weeks of travel on the ocean sea that makes you absolutely nauseous, you arrive on this giant coastal shore. You walk for about a quarter of a day into the woods, and you watch as Bruggen packs everything into these small pack that he straps to his underside of his belly. And he begins to strip his clothes down to his shorts, pats you on the back, and turns himself into a giant bear and begins to walk off into the woods. And kind of nods in your general direction.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
You immediately secure what you need to secure. You turn into a giant, almost grizzly bear-looking creature. And Morn
Rune bears.
walks slowly off
exactly what I was thinking.
into the woods, where you find weeks of travel, almost months of travel, lands you've never seen before. You fight creatures you've never seen before. You arrive in a village, but not a village, almost like a communal village of people who are partial animal, partial not. Some people walk around in almost hybrids, where the top half of them or the bottom half of them is a creature, and the top half is human, or fully in panther, bear, whatever forms. That's where you choose to be. Sorry to cut you off, Kaz, but as you were saying, you kind of watch as Morn walks off.
I was just about to say.
I didn't mean to totally steal the show, but I did answer your question on whether or not Morn came back.
Yeah, so I think spending a week or two there, just to see, what plays out. Morn doesn't return. Kaz consciously makes a decision to not follow him when he leaves. Freya doesn't return. Kaylin doesn't return. I think it seems clear to Kaz that like the what they were called to do is done, and it's time to move to the next thing. So she'll meet with Beowulf, say goodbyes to, including Elwyn, Henri, everybody. Say goodbyes and then head out into the world to rebuild. If anyone I think for Kaz, the thing was that she grew up in a world where like you couldn't be yourself or herself. So the idea of like when they found Jupiter, that was like paradise, right? So I think she wants to replicate that or expand on that. So she just kind of travels throughout Rothos for some time, looking at the destruction and the rebuilding and what needs to be done, and
it's extensive.
eventually, yeah, it's a lot of the cities.
A lot of them are gone at this point. They got overrun. A lot of the coastal cities got overrun and absolutely obliterated. Kind of like what you had said. Do you still plan to do McKill?
Yes.
Okay. So after about a year, your dragon is no longer a wormling. He is a young adult dragon, and you are able to ride him. And it is a presence and it is a show.
Yeah. So I have what is it? The spell, Demiplane, I think is what it's called. But it's a 8th level spell that you can create a demiplane. So I have kind of made another dimension for him to stay, right? Like when you're at a place where you can't take a dragon with you.
Yeah.
So I'll travel sometimes by flight or sometimes on foot, just kind of taking in the aftermath, right? Eventually settling in McKill, not as herself, but as a Dragonborn. So after a year or so, a Dragonborn named Karska makes his way to McKill, starts helping to rebuild. Over time, kind of becomes a leader of that city, and over the course of like many years, effectively becomes the ruler of McKill, much like Beowulf was of Jupiter. McKill becomes kind of Jupiter 2.0, right? This is a city with all different races, kind of living harmoniously with each other, working together. It becomes a like major metropolis, whatever a metropolis is, for this time period. It's known for kind of nightlife and all the things that you would find in a big city.
Vegas.
And it's medieval Las Vegas, and it's ruled by a dragonborn with an adult dragon by his side.
Which brings a ton of people to see. Yeah. I mean, it's a whole, like the main building / casino, if you want to call it, literally has you sitting on a chair with this dragon behind you. This
Like,
golden dragon.
If any of the guests get uppity.
Yeah, it's like the old theater, like the seats at the top, right? It's like there's always a spot. So he will make his way through town, always go to the taverns and the shows. Also throughout Rothos, there are several locations of the Grinning Gin, which becomes a well-known tavern with games of chance, right? With the largest one being in McKill. And Karska, this Dragonborn, will kind of go throughout Rothos and visit them all, but the main one and the biggest one being in McKill. I think most of the people throughout Rothos will always know this Dragonborn as the Dragonborn, Karska, but any of the rangers or a handful of the NPCs that we've known could probably put it together pretty easily. That this is Kaz. Yeah.
There's a couple.
There's probably a half a dozen people or so that would probably immediately guess that it was Kaz.
Yeah.
Bobo comes and almost permanently stays in McKill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there for probably a decent amount, like 85% of the year. He pretty much lives in McHill for the party
I
life.
feel like that's very much his style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's very disfigured now though, walks with a limp and is missing his left hand.
Kaz, you should totally shapeshift into Morn to give Bobo a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Awkward.
What happens in McGill?
Days of McHill. Well,
know-
you can rename McHill if you want.
You know Bobo can still pull anybody he wants, even though he's disfigured.
Oh yeah, and it's
He's
only
a-
slightly. It's not bad, but there's definitely battle scars.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
Well,
I think
fucking cool. I would pull that into campaign too. Like people will know that name.
I
Yeah.
think Kaz lives out the rest of her days, you know, knowing that the group potentially saved the world, and then after that she made an improvement at least to this small corner of the world, right? I can't rule. I can't and wouldn't rule the whole world, but I can take this one little corner, and make it a little bit better, right? So she's content to do that.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that for Kaz.
Henry,
So, remind me when we learned of this scepter that could have the power to make some big changes.
Mhm.
Was that when Henri was with the party, or was that when Alwyn was with the party?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well-
We were. It was when we were. That was Henri, because
Okay.
we were doing it while we were in the Ranger Major, and going
Right.
over, and we had learned about it at that time. Alwyn wasn't. I think it was soon after that Alwyn joined with the group.
Yeah.
Alwyn would also know, just from
Right.
conversations of it coming up later.
Well, that would certainly be a point of interest for, like, you know, there, at this point, I mean, the Jupiter's been, is it like abandoned, or are there still people there?
Oh, there's still people there. It still becomes a large city, but the
Okay.
majority of people from Jupiter abandon it. It was basically, think about it this way, it was basically nuked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a giant fuck you laser basically go through the entire
Yeah.
the entirety of the town.
Yeah, I would imagine that any of the moon elves that were still there would have returned to our ancestral home in the forests.
A lot of them
Yeah,
actually
lot of
left with
a
Bruggen.
lot of them. Oh, okay, a lot of them left.
A lot of them left to
To Radar.
travel back to Radar.
Hmm.
Basically seeing Rothos as toxic towards their people.
Fair enough. I don't get to
several
decide what
months-
they do.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them
Um,
stay behind. And
Yeah,
return
I
to the
mean, not
ancestral home.
everybody, but
Mhm.
a large chunk of them have left.
Well, yeah, thinking that this scepter could be useful in helping Markale heal, if not in body, then perhaps in mind. That would be Henri and Lachlan's next objective. Be to find that.
You spend several months looking for the scepter, with no luck. About 8 months later, an individual shows up. A very tall, skinny individual, wild-eyed, wild-haired, crazy looking, shows up, and demands to speak to Bruggen. And at this point, it's been months since Bruggen left with Morn and your people. after a small conversation and very disgruntled, you find out she is the individual that Bruggen had called for months ago. And you guide her towards your daughter, where she casts a like a greater restoration. And your daughter's mind slowly begins to reassemble and fix itself.
Yeah,
There's
maybe we
still
don't
some broken
doesn't need
pieces.
to. Yeah, it doesn't need to be like back to the way it was, because I think
No, think of like
not.
heavy counseling, but there's still a lingering
Yeah,
PTSD.
right.
Yeah.
Like
She
she's
cannot fix
she's
the
much
limbs.
she's much better, but she's always gonna
She
have the PTSD kind of
correct.
from that experience.
She's
But
unable
maybe
to
is
fix.
but maybe is stronger for it.
It helps, and with continual guidance and love
Mhm.
from the family, she'll heal over time. But she's unable to regrow the limbs like the original limbs. But what she does provide you is the limbs that are gone. She has you hold her daughter down, your daughter down, and shoves
Is there
seeds
something you didn't tell me, Lachlan?
into the leg and into the arm, and gives you guidance to basically feed her. She gives you almost like a moss and tells you to never miss a feeding. And every morning and every night, the first thing she does when she wakes up and the last thing she does before she goes to bed is to take one bite of the moss and then to
Until
sleep.
until it's gone, or
Yes.
okay.
And you do over the course of 3 months. And over the course of 3 months, you watch as a sprout, like a tiny little leaf, sprouts out of her leg and out of her arm. And over the course of 3 months, she basically grows a like vine leg and arm,
Ooh,
like fully functional,
like living
living,
wood
like it
prosthetic.
lives off of her.
Groot. I am Groot.
That's badass.
And she regains the ability to walk, grab, functionality. Like it's almost like a baby relearning everything. Like she can do a lot of the gross movements, but it takes time to get all the finer movements again. But overall, your daughter is 85% healed.
Time can heal the rest.
Scarred, heavily scarred, mentally and physically, but brighter future in front.
Right, and then
And you spent probably about 3 to 4 months looking for this scepter, with to no avail. Every lead that you feel like you find or hear about leads you in another direction that leads you to another clue and another folk tale, to another tale, to another folk tale, to another tale, to another folk tale that leads nowhere. And every once in a while, you swear, you absolutely swear, you see a almost like sickly, ghastly looking cloaked individual that looks almost identical to Kalen in the shadows. Every time you get to the end of one of those clues to the scepter. Like out of the corner of your eyes, you swear you see him for a split second. As you turn to kind of make your way towards this individual to talk, he's gone. Lachlan tells you later on that Elena is pregnant with his child, and
I'm
no. Lachlan brings up the want to continue the family with you and have another. And you kind of begin to contemplate the idea. As obviously,
gotta find a nice place
Lachlan
to settle down.
continues
Maybe.
to age, and you do not.
Right.
He also does bring up several times moving to the new Jupiter and this new, exciting and vibrant city that he's pretty sure Kaz is running, but he's not entirely positive. And he brings it up several times over the course of a couple of weeks. And he brings up, like, we could move there. Kaz kind of owes you. We could get a loan on a house with no interest and live there. I'm just sure you could find a job as, like, security. We could live out our days there. Everything would be good. Insurance would be good. I mean, we'd be free of charge. And he brings it up several times. Not to mention, he knows that a lot of information passes through there. A lot of fun stuff. And he just wants to live out the last of his days. So
Yeah.
something
For
else
the-
you kind of contemplate.
For the remainder of his life, she would want to, give that to him.
Yeah.
That retirement, so to speak.
So in essence, then you guys move to this new McHill, and you settle down, and you have babies.
A few
Roll
more.
a d6 for me.
Okay.
You have 3 more kids.
A few more half elves brought
Yep.
into the world.
Roll a d6 3 times. Tell me even or odd.
Okay. Two odds and an even.
You have 1 boy and 2 girls. Life is
Roll me
good.
a d10s.
Yeah. Life is good though. You settle down. You find good work and live out your days on the extreme riches that you found adventuring. I mean, Morn left everything. You find the bag by the pit and it has all your money. I think it was like 1,000 platinum or some shit like that?
Yeah,
It was a lot.
Morn?
Yeah,
No, Morn didn't keep any of the gold.
that's what I mean. You threw down the bag.
No, Morn never had gold. Morn kept
Yeah.
enough gold on him to
Kaz
buy
had
beer at
some
a
of it.
tavern.
Yeah, but who had the bag?
That's true.
I
We do have the
did.
bag of holding.
Oh, well then
Kaz
fucking
did.
Kaz walked away. Kaz walked away with a fucking fortune. He just went.
I mean, we could always be like, "Hey, Kaz, like,
I mean, it's
some of that
true.
was ours, right? We get a cut, yeah."
So, in a quick recap, because I do have one thing I want to do, I want to touch on. Arcadia and Alwyn. What did they end up doing?
I think Alwyn would probably go with the Moon Elves that left for Radar, seeking answers.
For their people?
Yeah, about what happened and what their ancestors did, and seeking to, the Undying One sought to right the wrongs in a particular way. Alwyn wants to do that too, but not by wiping the slate clean, rather by
So, without
uncovering
giving
the
away,
past so that they could move forward and do better.
so not to give away too much, he finds out that your people, especially your tribe, used to be part of a coven, basically an entire civilization that was just Moon Elves. Highly adept civilization, magical fighters, the whole works. But you had almost like a high elf aspect of it, like an upper class that delved deeply into magic and wanted to basically make themselves the supreme race, and they looked to basically, in the in the nicest way possible, to basically nuke the main capital.
Damn.
Because the elves, Freya's civilization, her family crest were the rulers of the realm, and your clan, your people, saw themselves as a much a greater species per se, like
Mhm.
smarter, and they looked to overdo that, kind of like a show of power. Well, the problem was they didn't anticipate the amount of magic that was drawn in, and they were unable to control and contain. And when that happened, it basically just continued to, in the easiest way possible to explain it, everybody that had magical ability, basically their life force was just sucked from them. Within a certain radius of this magical ball, their essence was just sucked, and like it just kept drawing magical essence from everybody in that area and created a giant nuclear warhead,
The big suck.
basically, and blew up that whole civilization, which ended with magic being drained from the world, which ended with people blaming your society, which ended with Radar going into chaos, civil war, people killing people, dying out. It split the land. Rothos split from Radar. Yeah,
Bad all around.
pretty much. Arcadia.
So here's the thing. As poetic and well thought out as Frosty's thing was, I can't sit back and just let my character's ending be hijacked.
Yeah.
To some extent, obviously, because it's fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. But so how does this thing work? From what I understand from the contract, he has to find the scepter, and he has 2 years to find it.
Well, first things first, Arcadia.
Right, and this is why I'm
Okay.
asking. I'm wondering
Yes, he has
if there's
2 years to find it.
something that can be done with Arcadia for that. I don't know.
She knows nothing about it.
Exactly. But
So roll a
the
perception
question is,
check
like,
for me.
if everybody was there, or if she sensed, if people's, well, I guess she wouldn't necessarily sense Freya.
She wouldn't assess anything, but roll a
But
perception
she
check
did
for
meet
me.
with Kaylin. I don't know. That doesn't actually make any sense.
Roll a perception check
hold
for
on.
me.
Hold on.
We'll see if she saw Kaylin and Arcadia step through the portal.
Freya.
Or Freya, yes. Yeah. You would have come around the corner in the midst of that battle, kind of with them coming back to see them all talking, and you went to go talk to them. And as you did, you saw kind of like the talking back and forth and kind of the looks, and then you watched Kalen hold his hand out towards Freya. Freya looked back towards Morn, grabbed the hand, and then they disappeared into kind of like a hellfire.
Now, she didn't have a connection with Freya like everybody else did, so she probably wouldn't have sensed anything malicious happening necessarily.
No, but you did notice Kalen come back, and then you noticed him. I gotta pee really quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I don't know what can be done about this. It feels like so unjust to have somebody become free, help set the world free, and then want to ensure that their friend is also not stuck in imprisonment and then become a prisoner again.
No good deed goes unpunished.
I mean, if that's how it has to go, then that's how it has to go. So I think I'm just stretching it. I don't know.
The one upside to it is that it leaves the door open if we want to revisit
Yeah, because like I
at
to
some point in the
some
future, right?
to some extent I have, like I want to just pull Arcadia in to be like, hey, what's going on with that? And obviously meeting with him. But I
I
don't
mean,
think that I don't know if that would lead to.
we could always bring back #Free Freya for a one shot or something.
Okay. What?
Oh, it's
Um,
#Free Freya.
No, so I was like, it's hard because I feel like everybody kind of just parted and it just, obviously
Yeah.
everybody's talking about how how their story played out, how their end played out. I don't really get to do that with Freya because that's not really a thing. And I feel like I'm kind of grasping to have Arcadia step in any way, other than the fact that, knowing Kaylin's back after this contract, maybe seeing this whole thing, but she wouldn't necessarily have any pull to be like, I need to search this out. The only side I was going to with that was the divinity, the background of being an Azamar, maybe being like, I don't know. But I again, I feel like that's just stretching. So trying to figure out what I want to. Because she probably wouldn't see Kaylin around. Because she wouldn't be necessarily looking for that scepter. Or maybe she would, to rebuild Jupiter. But she didn't necessarily know about it, so I'm not gonna do that. That's stretching too. So I would probably say that maybe there is a tinge of curiosity as to what transpired. Maybe staying in Jupiter and being curious whatever happened to them, but not probably going beyond the bounds of servitude, because she is pretty much all in when it comes to basically serving, helping rebuild the city, and helping people get back on their feet. But I don't think that goes beyond Jupiter. I feel like that is her home. That is where she feels accepted. That is where she feels she belongs, and she's going to probably continue that. To any stretch of it, there might be that question of whatever happened to Kaylin and why they may have went into that portal and what happened and what is he up to. But I don't know if it really goes beyond curiosity.
So,
Freya.
Freya,
Oh, go ahead.
you're dead.
Yup.
But not really. Kaylin, after searching and searching and searching and searching and searching and turning up loose end after loose end after tale after folk tale after fucking everything, infuriating, every time that you think you have a lead, you find Henri around a corner. You lurk in the shadows, hoping she doesn't find it so that you don't have to kill her and take it, or something else.
Yeah, he would be absolutely relentless, like 16 hours a day, every single day, only eating like if he absolutely has to.
You come to 1 year and 11 months and fucking 30 days. Like one day.
23 hours and 50 seconds.
Yeah, like literally to the mark. And the last day, you come to a realization. And you hear a final tale. And you overhear, as you sit in his office, kind of in a back room, you come to a realization as you hear Ezekiel over talking with one of his higher lieutenants. about how the scepter was a joke. It was made by the Undying One, a folklore, to draw those with power to the island to kill them. The scepter was never a thing, and he got you to sign a contract extending your deeds and your work for him, for free, for nothing, to imprison a soul that you couldn't keep. And as you sit there holding the box in your hand, gaunt, you've lost probably like 50 pounds. Like, you just look like a shell of your former self. You literally are on the edge of looking like a demon yourself. You have sunken in eyes. Your eyes are actually almost to the point where they're just jaundiced. You sit staring at this box, what you did to Freya, knowing that the scepter's not real. Fuck me. What do I do? And as you stare at this box and her soul, and you kind of caress the box, thinking of her, it slowly crumbles before you. And you watch as the soul just like disappears before you as you try to like grasp out towards it. You try to hold it, you try to grab it, but it's gone. You don't know what to think. You signed a contract for fucking nothing. He tricked you into signing a contract. Into extending your years of service to him. For what? For nothing. Come back to you in a second.
Okay.
Freya, roll a d20 for me.
We're gonna change this from hashtag fuck Arcadia or Arcadia that bitch to Kaylin that bitch.
Kaylin that incel.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Kaylin that nice guy. There we go.
Yeah, we're
Freya?
gonna find Kaylin on Nice Guy subreddit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I went through hell for this girl and did all this thing, and I planned out this super cool speech when we were in hell, and she rejected me, so I trapped her in a soul cage.
I don't know. Not to shit. Not shitting on it at all. It was good. It's just like
But
I
then at
just
the
got
end,
a
it
little
has
bit
to
of that
like,
vibe.
So I
it has to be an attack on her. So it's like, what a bitch! Can you believe
Yeah.
like you didn't
Can you
even bang me?
believe this? Can you believe she didn't want to be with me? I did everything for her, man.
So, Freya, roll a d100.
Again, not shitting out on your whole thing with Kaylin at all, Frosty. It was epic, but I gotta rag on you, just a little bit.
I mean, in the end, it's fucked up. No matter
Yeah.
what way you cut it. It's fucking cool and smart and a great twist and poetic as shit. And I wouldn't
And
change it
fucked
for the
up.
world. But it's also
Yeah.
fucked up.
And also a little bit funny.
This
Well, I
feeling
feel a little
inside.
empty, and that's not in my character. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
get it.
hurts, to be fair. I've had a rough few days and this kind of fucking sucks.
Freya, you return and you find yourself laying in an open field. Your eyes flutter open. You look around, unsure of where you are. You think to yourself, my name is Freya. Who am I?
I like where this is going.
What am I doing? I don't know. And you just start walking.
Damn, this is like some fucking mollymock shit right here. Oh wait, have you seen Campaign 2?
Yeah.
Okay. This is some mollymock shit right here.
You
Which is fucking cool. I'm not.
you take off and you spend the next 3 years not knowing who you are, what you're doing. You don't remember anything. All you know is your name.
Oh damn. But what
3
about
years.
hearing stories? Like if people are gonna tell stories about the Lone Rangers, I guess they wouldn't necessarily know everybody's names, would they? So I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Mm.
You hear the stories. The stories are cool.
And
These
the Lone
heroes are
Rangers sound
so
cool.
cool.
Who
They're
the fuck
so
are the Lone
cool.
Rangers?
I wish I
Yeah.
could be one of them.
You want to meet them. You want to know who they are. You know, you take you take work wherever you can find it. You know, you hunt animals, beasts. You do little side work here and there as you can take it. Kalen, you search high and low, wondering where Freya is. You ask Ezekiel and he laughs at you. Tells you the information you don't need. It doesn't matter to you anymore. You're his forever. You belong to him. You don't need to go anywhere. Consider yourself dead.
Yeah.
Until one night. Well, actually, I'll let you make that choice. One night as Ezekiel sleeps, drunk on copious amounts of liquor, laughing and partying the night away, sleeping with and fornicating with all women in types of folds. You find yourself drinking with him as well. He passes out in one of his many couches and in one of many dens. You don't know what time it is. It's very late. But you find yourself standing over him. His barren chest lay before you. Dagger in your hand.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
What are you doing? Do you walk away, lay the dagger down? Or do you finish something that you've been thinking about for a while and running away into the world to do whatever it is you want? You know enough to get yourself to the mortal realm, if need be.
Kalen walks back to whatever room he's assigned and sits on his bed, folds his hands together, and chuckles to himself that he should have seen this coming, knowing that trickery is the work of the devils. And he remarks that a good title for an autobiography of his would be Kalen Deer, a collection of naivete and failures, and he would resign himself to his fate.
Freya, the word of a great beast that stalks the lands of Radar draws the attention of many hunters from Rothos. As ships begun to depart for the ancient lands of Rothos, as new creatures are brought back.
Of Radar.
Radar. Did I say
You
Radar?
you
I
said
say
You
Rothos?
Rothos.
said Rothos.
No. Of Radar. As many hunters leave to make a name for themselves to bring back these large catches as money seems to be made. A large
Go into
sum
the
is
new
offered.
world.
A large sum is offered before you. And in the tinge of your brain, something tells you you belong there. And almost like a passing wind, you feel a shove towards the ship. And you hear, "Go, little sister." A familiar voice. You don't know why. But you feel compelled to step onto the ship. To leave this land. You don't know why.
Oh, I would go. Especially being probably always all these years not really knowing who I am or where I came from and what everybody else seems to know their path and purpose in life. I'd probably feel like, hey, this is something telling me or pulling me. You know, this gotta mean something. Maybe this is what I'm looking for. I'd probably go.
And go you do. The Lone Rangers, lone once again. Kalen resigns himself to a life of servitude in the hells. Gauntly, demonic, and as time goes on, you do grow more and more and more demonic features.
Devilish, but okay.
Devilish, sorry, thank you. Freya, slowly over the years, you get tidbits of information. It almost causes headaches as it comes in. You remember small things, names, locations, jokes. The fuck is a cheese master?
The cheese master is eternal.
Fuck is a cheese master?
But every night when you go to bed, one thing sticks out and it bothers you the most. A wound right about your fourth rib on your left side. Large wound, almost like a dagger that was turned.
I thought that was in
And
my
it
heart.
aches. Was it
Caitlin,
in the heart,
Did you do
Kalen?
it in the heart? I don't remember.
I never specified. It can be really whatever you
Oh,
want.
okay, never mind. No, because you're the one that did it. Where would you want it?
Yeah.
It's wherever you want.
I'm gonna assume heart because obviously you had yours. I mean, poetic, but
Yeah, there you go. That's fine.
All right, that
okay.
works.
So you have a wound right around the heart that aches every night that you go to bed. But it doesn't just ache; it almost burns, and you can't figure out why. It takes like a minute or two for it to settle down, for you to get it, get it to calm, like the skin to calm down. The years have passed. You remember small names. You remember faces. A handsome man. Golden locked hair. Smelled of wheat. Makes you smile. Tall. Incredibly strong. Handsome man. Little on the not brainy side. But protective.
But a
Cuddly.
thick beard.
And just a big guy. An elf person with elfin features, darker skin than yours, and a smile that could light up the night. And an incredibly poetic keeper of the group, did not like giving away her money.
It's on brand.
The names escape you, but the faces stick. And over time, traveling through one of the cities in Radar, one of the hunting cities, you do recognize one of the elven people. You see this elven individual, this female elf, walking through the city streets, and for a second you think about going and talking to her. But you're not sure, and you walk in the other direction. Henri, out of the corner of your eyes, you feel like you see Freya for a split second, and you kind of look in the general direction, and nobody's there.
I must be seeing ghosts.
Time continues on. Lachlan passes Henri as he follows you to Radar. You bury him on your new homestead and continue life on without him.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw what I said, but
Yeah. The children, all of them, choose to follow you. Every
Right.
single one of them. They stay with you for a couple of years, though, and each one of them leaves to choose their own life.
as I would wish.
You live for a very long time. Continue to
Mhm.
live. Years and years and years and years pass. One day while hunting in the forest, Freya, you notice an old bear as you're hunting. Gigantic bear. That seems to be a bounty had been put on its head. Its pelt. Seems like many a hunter had tried to take it on at one point. Has semi-lodged arrows in its back, scars all over, missing its left eye. Left eye swollen, like it's like closed shut with a giant scar that breaks down the whole left side of the face. The bear's grayed and very, very elderly. You stalk it. 3-4 days. You finally you don't corner it, but you find it sitting on a ledge. This bear does not act like most bears that you're used to. You sit and watch it for about a half hour. And it's the bear sits on its butt, overlooking a cliff, and just stares out into the morning sun.
Now, I'm curious because you mentioned it's been many years. Does Freya not interact with civilization at all?
Little bits.
Okay. Because
Half and half.
that whole Dione bloodline thing might come up if that were the case.
So, 85 years pass. 85 years pass as you go to hunt this bear. And as you do, a lot of the names have returned to you and a lot of your past memories. You've tried to reach out and find some of your friends, remembering a little bit of what Kaylin did. You've kind of chosen to live by yourself and to figure out life. And as you hunt this bear and you watch in the morning sun, the bear looks out into the morning sun. And as it sits, shifts into a giant man, an elderly man. The hair almost goes down and touches its toes in the back into a long ponytail, like a Viking braid the whole way down, and this gigantic gray beard. almost naked. Stands there for about 5 or 6 minutes. Turns and kind of stares in all directions. And for a split second, you see the very, very elderly face of Morn. As you, stunned, stare back in his general direction. You go to move to say something. Morn, you hear the brush move, and immediately run, shapeshift, and jump off of the ledge edge and disappear into the forest below. You just see almost like this this giant, like, bald eagle, like bigger than anything you've ever seen, fly off into the canopy below.
Well, I mean, if anything, you've just given Freya a mission.
As you walk to the ledge edge, you do realize as you look around, he visits that area frequently. You can tell, like, there's like wear areas from where his ass is basically sat, time and time and time and time and time again.
One of the rocks is like slightly indented from how
Like a
many
little butt
times he
cheeks.
sat there. Yeah.
I'm sure I have a pretty
Oh.
nice hammock set up going.
Yeah,
Actually, I have a good idea.
you're more beast than you are man at this point, Morn. You've lived your life pretty much in the animal state.
Yeah, I would have gone into civilization once a year to try and hear rumors of Freya coming back. I probably would have done that for about 10 years. And then after that, the time between me transforming back into a person would just become less and less and less. By the time that Freya probably saw me, I imagine it would it was a foreign form when I would be in my human form.
Yeah, you're like in your 90s. Like, you still are very much in shape and very alive. Like, you live longer than most, but
Half giant.
you've definitely lived more in your bestial form than you have in your human form at this point.
Yeah.
And twice a year, Kaylin, to make a point, Ezekiel tortures you by putting you in your room and basically, almost like a big screen, like a TV, for an entire day, he shows you Freya walking and enjoying the life above.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh.
Jeez,
Fuck.
Ginger, you're an asshole. That's just
It was-
mean.
It was part of the contract.
Yeah.
He does it to,
Galen didn't read the fine print.
well, he missed the DC for some of the fucked up things that were added onto that contract.
Shit.
But to be
Ezekiel
fair,
doing
that
it as
wasn't-
more of a, he was doing it as more of a punishment than he was as a gain. There was a high risk, high reward, unfortunately.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're feeling like, oh, I just gotta find this thing, I got plenty of time to do it, all the in-between shit sometimes doesn't matter.
But almost as a mental fuck you, twice a year, he does it to Kaylin. And during the days that he does it, Kaylin, it is absolute mental torture. You spend those days in your room, you scream to the point of you actually like scrape your blood vessels in your throat and spit up blood and scrape the walls with the fingernails to the point where they come off.
Yeah.
Screaming and vowing vengeance against all higher deities.
That they could allow this to happen.
Can I leave something?
Yeah.
Or Morn, I know where he visits.
What are you gonna leave?
So, knowing that he goes to visit there often, I'm going to locate a little wooden box somewhere in a nearby city.
Easy enough to do.
And I'm also going to look for a vendor that can provide me with a piece of cheese. And I'm curious if it's possible to find... Actually, no. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Scorpion tail. And I'm going to go back to this location. And I'm going to put this box in this spot. And I'm going to put the cheese in the box. And I'm going to cut off a piece of my cloak. It smells of brimstone. That's like one of the defining features of it.
Mhm. Which he would certainly know because he's been attuned
Because
to
he's
it
been
before.
attuned to it, yeah. And I'm gonna cut a piece of my cloak off and put it in that box with the cheese. And I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
And then I'll probably come back frequently to see if he's there or if he's been there, if that box is still there. I don't know. I guess it's up to Morn.
Oh, I'm sure if Morn found that box, he would be searching far and wide for you, flying up in the air.
Well, just like that is a frequent spot that he visits, Freya would be visiting there frequently as well. Hoping that he sees it, and if he wants to be found, that he would be.
Morn would have been... Yeah, I don't think Morn gave up pretty much everything. I don't think he would have given up trying to find you again. So he'd be fine if he would let himself be found.
How long would it take? Ginge, maybe you can play that out.
Nope. I'm leaving that open.
Oh!
That'll be something that you learn campaign 2.
Ooh.
Because that all
Cliffhanger.
plays, everything that you guys just said and did, everything plays into the next campaign. A lot of fucked up shit. I just want to say thank you guys. Like, you guys were a very unruly group, and made friends with a lot of you guys. I had an absolute fucking blast.
Hey, we're not
make
going
up.
anywhere.
Oh, I know that.
But
This is just campaign 1.
campaign 1, this is
Yeah.
this
But
is the
this
final
was
coming to a
my fuck around, like whatever D&D. That was supposed to be some stupid shit that I was gonna do for a little while and be done. And 94, almost 5 episodes later. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
Oh.
fucking
Actually, Ilro, he's just
go.
very, very lactose intolerant. So like a lot of shitting after that. Like a lot of shitting. Like a lot.
But
Like
he
they
knows.
they find a bear that just like absolutely destroys half the forest. So
Morn would have eaten the cheese.
The bear wanders into a campground outhouse and just shits all
just
over the walls.
Just destroys.
And some guy goes in, such devastation.
Morn definitely would have eaten the cheese. He would have been saving the scorpion tail for someone to share it with.
But time goes on. I have yet to roll to figure out how long in between the campaigns. But a lot of stuff to digest. I had a blast. Campaign 1 is
Hell.
over.
Yeah.
We got campaign 2 coming up. We have an intermediate campaign that our lovely Strat is going to throw for us. We're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna play a character that's gonna be a fucking blast.
Yep. I
Same.
figured Ginger's been in the DM chair long enough at this point, so he deserves. You know, when for those of you who don't know, stream people, we got together through Reddit and
Ha.
played with this one DM, and like, so there were Freya wasn't there
No.
in the very beginning, but I think were the rest Were the rest of us present? Were we all there?
Rebel was,
Like-
and Kaz was.
Kaz, yeah.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay, yeah. But we all we got together and it was it was all right, but Ginge was one of the players, and then our DM just kind of disappeared,
us.
and it seemed like the group was gonna kind of just go our separate ways, at least to me, and I had something going on that would preclude me from continuing to play at the same time, so I couldn't keep playing, but I did stay in the Discord that
you
was
did.
made.
I think I
and
bugged
am
you like every other day.
No, you didn't. But I kept seeing, time went on, and I was seeing, oh, they're still playing and everything.
20 sessions
And-
later.
And months went by, and my life, my situation had changed. I had free time, and
Yeah, 'cause
I
I think
saw
I
that
added-
things were still going, and I was like, hey, can I rejoin? And I was welcomed into the fold, and I'm so glad I came back,
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
because
because Kaylin, I
this-
think I took in. We took.
I've
Kaylin
said this
before you.
before, and I will say it again, so that the people at home can know this. But this is the type of game that I dreamed about being a part of when I started
Yes.
playing D&D, and I couldn't be more grateful for this group
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
to
echoing that.
let me be a part of that.
Echoing that hardcore.
All I have to say, my only thing, and you all will fucking do that before you leave me and go your separate ways to do whatever else you do. We will have a campaign. I swear to God, we will have a campaign where we are all going to get together
In person.
and do a one shot
yes.
and or a campaign. I swear, if you guys buy the plane tickets or drive, I will pay for the hotel. I will pay for the
The D&D
like
room.
the D&D room, and we'll have somebody else fucking DM or whatever, and we'll do like a one shot or a session or something. But we will do one thing where we will all get together and we'll have some fucking drinks and we'll do some D&D stupidity.
Hell yeah.
Fuck.
Oh,
Yes.
Rogue will DM.
Once.
Rogue, we're gonna hold you to that. Your DM.
Yeah. You don't know what you've entered into. You have signed a contract now.
Uh-oh. Did you read the fine print?
Should have read the fine
He
print,
he
bitch.
actually does voices really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Dead serious. Rogue does some
have
fucking voices.
Rogue does have a honeyed voice.
It's got that deep voice, baby.
Brrr.
But
Yes, people, thank you for being with us on this fucking crazy adventure that
whether-
has been going on for 2.5 years now.
Whether you've been
holy
here
shit.
from the start of the stream or had just joined today, we thank you for being on this journey with us.
Yep. If Canned was here, I have his song saved. The Bard song. The Wix's hex jaunts, its moving visage haunts, a citadel above where the Undying One rests. It's the Lone Ranger's final test. Time running out, the clock goes tick. It's time to twist some motherfucking dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And on that,
That's
awesome.
beautiful.
Jesus Christ, Rogue. On that, we end our campaign.
Yeah, we will be
That's
back
it.
for campaign 2 after we iron out some details and take a little break. Ginge needs a break to get stuff together, to get to
I
play
have
a little
so much
bit.
shit to
Yeah, we
write.
have some stuff. I have a
Yep.
fucking amazing. My skills at becoming
You guys
like
have no
a
idea.
video
I've seen
editor
peaks of it.
over these last 2 years have jumped astronomically. So the trailer I have for campaign 2, I am beyond ecstatic for what I've made, and I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Yep. New intro video, new music.
Don't
new
feel like
everything.
you need to do. Don't feel like you need to do anything for my game. It's gonna be pretty, simple.
I mean, I like making trailers. They're so much fun, and I have the tools that I have available and know how to use now. It's great. But anyway, yes, thank you everybody. It's been a long, crazy ride. It's been amazing. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you in
Yep.
a couple weeks. Once
See you in a
Strag
couple
gets his
weeks.
thing ironed back,
Yeah, we're probably gonna
ironed
have
out,
a week
we'll do our
off.
thing.
I would like to get you all together off stream.
Yeah.
To
Maybe what about next Wednesday? Instead
Yeah,
of doing
yeah, yeah.
D&D, maybe we'll do like a getting the campaign together.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
just
what I was
drink. We'll just
thinking.
drink and throw some shit around.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so probably in about in 2 weeks, we'll be back. And I will be in the captain's chair this time.
Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
Scary.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Wait till you see what I have planned.
I gotta go to bed.
All right,
so,
everybody.
Fucking
we will
love you all.
see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Take care. Have a good weekend. And bye-bye.
Bye bye.